Hi, everyone. Welcome to Live Coding Happy Hour. We are doing a little bit of a different topic today. If you saw our video headline, we changed it last minute. We called it Audible, but we have good stuff in store for you today. This is the show that we have very little rehearsal on, and we build stuff live to show the actual developer getting down with it. Today, Brad will be leading it, so let's do some introductions first. Go ahead, Brad.
Hello, everybody. My name is Brad Tilton, and I am a senior developer advocate with a developer program here at ServiceNow. I've been developing on the platform for a while. I enjoy doing custom app development, pretty much anything that has to do with that, but I love doing front-end stuff, and that's what we're going to be doing today.
Hi, everyone. I am Earl Duque. I am a new developer advocate with ServiceNow. I joined the team about 3 months ago. But before that, I was with higher education. Shout out to UCSD, UC Davis, UCLA, I bounced around a lot of UCs. I'm also slightly all over the place. Just got back from Denver a few hours ago from a meetup over there. Shout out to all of our Denver people if you're tuning in. Great hanging out with you yesterday. One thing to know about what we do on this show too is we also usually drink while we do these coding, just to make it a little bit more lighthearted. It'll make it a little bit more entertaining, but also just to unwind on a nice Friday afternoon. I'll let Brad. I'll introduce my drink first because I was just talking about it. I was in Denver meeting up with a bunch of developers and drink a lot more than I usually do. So today I'm going to be drinking good old water. So no hard drinks for me today. I'm going to be catching up on some water. Brad, what are you drinking?
I've got a good old Modelo today, so we'll see how that goes.
Hey, so what are we doing today, Brad?
All right. So today we're going to be doing some UI Builder development. Let me get the right thing. We're going to be doing some UI Builder development. I guess to go back to the beginning, a lot of the feedback that we've gotten both from our MVPs and just overall is that, we have a lot of different web properties for people to find things. And you've got, the developer site, Docs, Now Learning, .com, where we have the Now Creators and Now Create, the Success Center, there's support, a lot of different places. And so one of the things that we thought we might do was try to build one portal that kind of tells you where to go for what you need to get. We don't know where this would end up going. This is, half thought exercise, and can we do something like this, and half like maybe we could do something like this and put it in personal developer instances or something.
So basically something that would be pretty helpful for everybody to have accessible to them in some form or way.
Yeah, and I do think the whole lots of multiple portals issue is going to get better. It has some visibility internally, but for now we were kind of thinking, well, what can we're developers, what can we build to make this better? So I've got a little app that I started where we've got a site table and a link table. And if I look at the site table, it basically just lists all the different little sites that we have and the short description of, the site and what it does. And so what I want to do is today we're going to go into UI Builder and create kind of a front end for this. So on the home page, we'll want a page that shows all of the sites and list them all, and then we'll want a page that when I click on an individual site, I can get all of its details. And there's a fly in my office that's throwing me off. I'll get all the individual details and maybe at least be able to click into that site. And also, stretch goal would be able to search it, I think. So that's kind of the goal for today. Let me zoom in a little bit. There we go. And we, are starting with this app that I built in App Engine Studio, just a couple of tables and a portal experience. And we'll click into it. Oh, I already have it open. So one little trick I found in App Engine Studio that I didn't actually know was there's this little full screen thing where I can get some extra vertical pixels out of it, which was nice. So if you click on this little button, you get some of that.
I
So
had no idea that was there.
I
I jumped
didn't
into my
either.
instance too to verify that I had it too. I was like, oh man, I do too.
I was actually considering putting in an enhancement or an idea to be able to get more vertical pixels out of App Engine Studio, and then I was like, wait, what is that? So yeah, that's a thing. So we're in UI Builder. This is the default portal that you get. It's got a bunch of pages in it. We'll probably just reuse this landing page and then create like a site page. And I think I want to start with the site page and then we'll go into the landing page. So we may not actually get to the landing page today. That may be a part 2. But I'm going to start by creating a new page. And we're going to call this site. It's going to give me a path already. I don't want to use a page template for this one. There are a lot of helpful page templates in here. If the page you're looking to create is similar to one of these page templates, you might be, you might be better off using one of these. But I think ours is going to be different enough to where I just want to start from scratch. So I'm going to hit create. That is going to give me a blank page. And I've got required parameters, optional parameters, and access controls. So required parameters are something that I have to pass the page in order for the page to render. And for this, I am going to want a required parameter, which is going to be, I think, probably the sysID of the site. So I'm going to call it the site ID. Because in my data model, I have a site table. So this will be showing a site record. So we're going to call that site ID, and I'll click save. And I am going to click done. And then I'm going to come over to, I'm going to go over to the sites, and I'm going to get the one for the developer site. So let's copy that sysID. And then I'm going to click on that parameter, and then I can give it. So this is kind of a default value, so I can use it for testing purposes on this page. So I think the first thing I want to do is I'm going to add a data resource to the page, and the data resource is going to let us interact with the database from the page. So we're going to look up a record probably on this one, but I could, update records and things like that as well.
Brad, do you know if that that test sysID for that page is saved in your app and it always comes up, or do you have to set that each time?
It'll be saved on the page, so that'll be my default. Whenever I hit open here, it'll open with that sysID.
Even if you close the window and everything.
Yeah, as long as let's save it now. If I close the window, it'll be there.
Nice.
So we've got my data resource that loads. It tells me something went wrong, which is just about my least favorite message in the platform. Nothing has gone wrong yet. I just haven't filled it out yet. Stop yelling at me. So let's go site.
I thought that said immediately anger.
That is kind of, when I see this message, there is some anger. All right, and then for the record, I'm going to use this dynamic data binding icon. This is one of the most important icons in UI Builder. Right now I can just select one of those records and hard code it. Generally, we don't want to hard code things when we're doing software development. So I'm going to click dynamic data binding, and this is going to let me, do something a little more dynamic. So I have all of these context properties to choose from, and I think I missed the one that I want. Whoa. There we go, site ID. So that's that required page parameter. Or if you ever see something in UI Builder, say, I think they call it page field. That is also a required parameter. That was the original name for required parameters, was fields. So I think that shows up in page variants sometimes. So when I click into that, I am now going to get the results of my data resource over on the right here, which is really nice. So I get the JSON results for my data resource to kind of test with and know how it's structured. And so we can see that it is returning, the right one, which is developer site based on that sys ID I passed it. So now I'm going to tell it what fields I want back. And I think just about all of them. I think I still have to get them one by one. Description.
Earl.
I'm a URL.
Me
pronouncer.
too. If you're new to Live Coding Happy Hour, there used to be a couple of fun audience streaking games we would always pretend to do. And one of them was whenever Dave Slusher said Earl, and whenever anybody said Jason instead of JSON.
Instead of JSON.
Yeah. So Earl and Jason, whenever someone said those words, the audience was supposed to drink. And if you ever watch an episode with Dave Slusher, you basically would die every time.
So did your chat get like more extreme as his episodes went on?
It's just he says Earl so many times. Anyways, go ahead.
Oh, you're good. So I think this is all we want. I don't have. So I do want an image. We'll have to go get an image for this site and put in a description at some point too. But I think these are all of the. Yeah, I got name here. So let's click out of the data resource. So I've got all that stuff. Now I want to take that data I got from the data resource and show it on my page. But first of all, I don't want my content to stretch the full page. I don't love the way that looks. So I'm going to do this, which is applying one of these layouts. So we now have kind of a middle section that I'm going to end up putting everything in. So I like to use these little add component buttons here instead of the ones here because I have found they are slightly more reliable. So I'm going to add a component, and then anytime I'm adding a component inside of a slot, which is what this sidebar main and sidebar 2 is, I always start with a container because it gives us more flexibility later on. So I haven't thought this through too far, but what I think I want to do is probably put the name of this site up at the top. So let's use stylized text. And the great thing about the stylized text component is I give it some text and then I give it an HTML tag. And the nice thing about this is rather than using like HTML, it's just simpler. And then I can also just style all of my H1s a certain way, right? It's a little more flexible longer term.
Phil asks, are there any limit to the number of containers within containers? I don't believe so.
I don't think there's a technical limit. It's whatever your brain can handle, I think is the limit there, which for me is maybe 2.
We have also seen many nested tiers in UI Builder before. So yeah. I don't think there's a limit.
So I'm going to use this dynamic data binding icon and kind of dot walk into the data that I get back from the server. I'm going to go down to name. And then all of these values have, or all these fields have values and display values. And for name, I want to use display value, even though it's probably the same either way. So we've got developer site. That looks good. I think I want to add another container after that one, and we'll put like the short description in that one probably. So we'll add another container and then do more stylized text. This one, we'll make it like an H3. And
bind it.
I like that. We'll go short description, display value. Get a personal instance, take self-paced training, and reference API documentation.
Look at that live preview. So good.
And so much more. And then I think another thing that I want to do is I want to add like a visit site button. So that'll be fun. Let's save it and see what it looks like when it's rendered on a larger screen here. Developer site. All right. I also want this to be more of a gray, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. All right. So I'm going to take this container and I'm going to break it into two. And then on the right, let's add a button. So this is going to get fun because I'm not quite sure exactly how we're going to do this. But I'm going to come in. Yeah, that's right. I did not practiced. Space evenly. How about, I want it to be in the middle.
Around?
Center? Between? Around? Are
you going to have to add a CSS style line to it to like...
I really don't want to.
Height 100% or something?
I might should put it in a container. Let's do that. After all the talk of adding containers, I didn't even do it. So then I can come in and move that button into the container, I believe, like this. All right. So now let's see. Maybe that doesn't help.
Maybe there's a 2-row one. Where's like a 3-row one?
Align items, center. I guess I could just play with the padding. That would probably do what we want it to do.
Yeah, what determined the height of the developer site box?
So this is because it's an H1, it's got the padding on the top and the bottom. I think it's probably what that's in. Well, let's save it and see what it looks like. It's at the top. So let's...
It's beautiful.
We're going to spend all our time on CSS hacks.
I'll change the title of the episode right now.
So what is our top padding here? Margin. Oh, it's a margin. 21.
I think, yeah.
I don't know. Let's just go into this and add some padding and say 20. That looks better. All right, so we want this button. I think secondary is probably right. It's not really like a you must click on this. So let's do that. So I want it to say visit site. And then we want an icon and we want some sort of like arrow, right?
Or the one they always do when it's going to open in a different window or tab or something.
So like a arrow. Is there one that like points up to the top right? Like this one?
Yeah, it works.
Ugh. I want that to be at the end.
Yeah.
I should be able to do that. No, I think there is a way to make it be at the end, but I don't remember what it is. So it bugs me, but we're going to leave it. All right. So now we have a button. We have to tell, we have to say, hey, button, do something when we click you. So we have to give it an event handler. So a button just has one event. A lot of components will have many events. Like if you open a list component, there's all sorts of things going on a list. So it has all sorts of events. A button only does one thing. It gets clicked. So we're going to add an event handler.
I'm surprised there's not like a mouse down and a mouse up and then a mouse click.
For the events. Yeah. So what we want is this link to destination. And I think if we try to select the destination, we can do this. Yeah. So I want to say result, and then my table has a URL field.
Oh, nice. That's convenient.
This may end up being way easier than I thought it would be. I thought we were going to have to write a script.
Yeah, so if you don't have an exact URL, you would build it via script and then put it in there?
Yeah, you'd have to construct your URL and put it in there, or you could construct
Can you inline it?
like,
can you inline it in that field?
No, so one of the things about those these fields is that the data binding only gives you, like, you just get whatever the piece of data is. You can't say like this plus data, although you can come into your scripting property value and kind of script it there too. So
Got it.
All right, so this may work. I mean, of course this is going to work. Visit site.
Hey, there it is.
And there's the developer site.
Dang, drink. Oh, I missed it. We were drinking.
Yeah. I'll do it again. So this is our beautiful site.
So are we gonna have all the different sites looped through and shown up on here, or are you gonna do a page per site kind of thing?
Yeah, so I think the goal will be to have all of the sites show up as cards like this.
Yeah.
So about 8 cards, and then you click on one. And then what I'd also like to do is be able to search in the search box and I think we've got multiple universal searches, and just search one of those universal searches. That's not for today's show. We may tackle a specific sites search, which let's do that. So we will also, let's go ahead and finish building out this page. And I'm just going to go ahead and directly add the description. This site doesn't have a description, but we'll just add that in there because we'll need it at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll probably want like an image or an icon or something up here. But except the description is not going to be a stylized text. It's going to be an HTML component. So HTML, it's rich text is the name of it. So for rich text, it only has this HTML. And so you can use the WYSIWYG HTML editor, or you can, instead of using this, you can come in and say, just dynamically bind this. And so my description field on the site record is
it already has HTML formatting and everything.
Yeah, so it's just the value of it is going to be HTML. So we're going to say value, and it doesn't. Let's go ahead and add something to it because it bothers me that there's nothing there. I think it's this one. Wow, my mouse is real laggy. All right, so developer site. What a beautiful form that I have created. Why don't we
Looks like a default form.
Let's go to the developer site and just copy stuff. I guarantee that URL is not going to work, but it's rich text at least.
I'm kind of interested to see how it renders in the end.
What just happened? All right, did it save? Let's see. Oops, I accidentally reloaded all of App Engine Studio. Oh, but it kept my tabs open. There we go. Yeah, I got some
Nice.
HTML in there. So if we,
which I
open
would
that
hope
up.
that it would work like that.
Yeah, this specific link, because I think that link can be your instance, like launching your instance. I didn't know if it's going to work.
Yeah, this is great because you
I
now
don't like
have, if you have that rich text field and you have it binded to a record HTML field, that means you can allow content management by other teams instead of having to do it yourself each time.
All right. So the one other thing that I want to do is I want to try to search the developer site from this page. So searching the developer site is basically URL. And I think there's a URL where it doesn't search a specific release, but we'll see. So the search term is just the last thing here. So we're going to need, how do we want that to look? So maybe we put that over on the right here with our button. We'll add another container. And then in that container, we'll add an input field. And then I have not actually done this, but our input field has 2 slots in it for the start and the end. So we can add, is it an icon or a button that we want to, I think we can add like a search button at the end.
Oh, that's neat. Instead of having to craft it separately each time.
Yeah, and we can just make this a
magnifying glass.
I have to actually say magnifying glass. Yep. And then we'll have it not say button.
I like it.
So then I can click on that. And then,
which is very important for mobile.
Yes.
Always have buttons for people to actually touch.
Let's get rid of the, so if I get rid of the label, then we just want some search the dev site. It's going to be too much text. No, that works. So what we want to do, there's a couple of steps here. So when I set some input here, I am going to want to take that input and bind it to a client state parameter. And then we're going to use that. So the client state parameter is basically like a page scratch pad. And so when I put some text in, I want to write that text to the scratch pad, and then we'll do something with it.
Yeah, because you need to build the URL after that, right?
Yeah, we'll need to use that. So we'll just call that search input. It'll be a string. I think null. I think that works. So we'll say for input value set, we want to update a client state parameter. We only have the one. And the new value, this is an easy one because the payload, the value of the payload is just the value of the input string. So we've got that. And then when I click on the button, we'll want to, see that's when it's nice to use the left here. So we've got the button and we'll give it an event.
Pixel perfect clicking.
So this is the one where we'll say, where was that? Link to destination. Select destination, external. Oh, that's right. So for this one, it doesn't have a script box. So you can't easily make it dynamic, but it is technically possible to make it dynamic. And I may have to look up a community post that I answered to remember how to do it. Let's look. UI builder. I'm actually going to look at Slack and then look at the community from there.
And I think our stream for live coding happy hour is coming through higher quality than before now.
Nice. That's good, right?
Yes, it's good.
All right. So what I want to do here. All right. So for external,
So you're kind of just faking even though there was no script button, you're kind of just injecting it into it from here.
yeah. So this is for these. I think most of the event handlers, you can either use the GUI or use a script, but it's like you have to do everything through the script, right? So before it gave me a bunch of fields I could fill out, but now that's not the case. And then I think this is going to be api.state.search input. Thank you, autocomplete.
Now, if you were completely following from home kind of thing, how would people know to try api.state.search input?
So this is documented on the dev site. There is actually, let's see if we can search for it. That's kind of meta, right? So I think I made this work, but we'll see. So if I search,
you did Glide Record earlier. That's good. Oh,
api.state,
nice. Yeah.
And then hit the button. It did not work.
What about pressing enter on api.state instead of the button?
No, I put the event on the button. So
yeah.
Oh, you know what? I wonder if we have to tab out. I think I ran into this before. No. Let's see, did we get an error? Nope.
Cool.
So one of the things that I like to do is troubleshooting client scripts. So here we can go like console.log and then api.state. I did that one, not autocomplete. Oh, well, what do we call that? Search
input.
I think that's what it was called. Search input. Yep. Let's copy pasta just because it'll make AJB happy if he's watching. And then what we'll do is, that's why it didn't work. Nope. Oh, you said it. Yeah, it's there. So let's say when we click the search button, we'll execute that client script and see if we have set the value correctly. So I'm going to select scripts as my event handler. So this one's going to both try to link and do the client script. So let's save that. And then say api.state. api.state.
I mean, there it is.
Oh.
That's the value.
It is a value. That's right. It's not, let's say glide record.
I mean, yeah, that's the right one. Yeah, there you go. So it's grabbing it correctly.
It's just our link to destination is not working. So what if we come into the link to destination and just do something like, what if we just say like,
Google, yeah, always.
see if that works.
No, you don't have anything in there.
Yeah, that was the vibe, but it should have tried
should
to
have hit
link
Google,
us.
yeah.
Yeah. Let's see.
So it's not even calling it. Would it work if go out of the script mode and just do it via the GUI?
Yeah.
What's advanced mode right here?
That's a good question. I don't know. It won't let me click it.
Okay, cool.
There's another way we can do this. Go.com, apply, save, refresh.
Oh, Christopher pointed it out. Christopher BE says remove the semicolon.
Oh, yep. Yep. Thank you, Christopher. That's right. This is JSON.
I love smart audiences.
I can't get back to that easily. That's all right. Where was the dev site? There we go. We could also have done some client state parameter stuff with this, but I think we can also do some. Let's get crazy with it while we're here. So. Is this our last property? It's our own property.
Yeah, it says solo property in that one. I like that how you started in one syntax, made an error, someone corrected you, and then you changed the syntax afterwards.
I like to make it a little bit harder on myself. Hey, that worked. Let's try API.state now. Next thing I want to do is on enter. Yeah.
Nice.
So if we look.
Good job, Christopher.
Yeah, extra points to Christopher. Phil read that putting the trailing comment on JSON is a good practice.
That doesn't error out? I thought that would error.
Huh. Nice. There we go. Now we load. Yeah, so on the dev site, there are some API, UI Builder APIs documented. And the API is the main one. There's also a cool helpers UI. So I think if we just search UI Builder, it'll give us both of those. Collapse yourself, sir. There we go. Nope. I'm not going to fight with it. So there's also some helpers which can help you navigate. You can do like a set timeout, some translation. So there's some different things that you can do in there that are all documented. Also, this API emit, I think I was talking to somebody, it might have been on SNDev Slack, where they wanted to do something from a client script. And using the API emit could help them. So you could create a page property and then fire that page property and do something based on that. I'm just reading the chat comment angle. That does sound strange. So what we really want to do here, though, is I don't want to hard code the URL for, let's get rid of this troubleshooting.
All right, because you're going to want it
Right.
to be based off of the record, right?
Yes. So let's go into our
to do
site
some
table.
data editing.
And this is a pretty normal, you're doing some UI and you're like, oh, let's do this. And oh, I need my data model to support this UI. So we'll just call this search URL.
Search Earl.
Search Earl. Search Earl. I can't stop double clicking. There we go.
Now, do we want it to be URL? Well, okay. So, what if the search term has to be in the middle?
Why would you do that? No,
Because I like pain.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah, I guess it doesn't need to be a URL, although I'm trying to, I think in our case, it would always be a URL.
Yeah, probably. I think if you were a different place that had something in the middle, I might make it a URL still, and then have a term that is meant to be replaced, and you just do it via script every time you do it.
Yeah. Put like a curly braces in the middle and replace that.
$sign, curly braces.
That is a good point. I think all of our searches, it's at the end, but maybe we'll run into that and change it. I think for now, we'll just add that search URL field.
I think being a URL field still is valid, though. Yeah, it would never be a string.
So,
do you hear that banging?
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
That's your carpet being replaced, right?
Yeah, right above my head.
Hey, we're all working from home. Everybody, we're used to it. Do I not have that open still? This is riveting watching Brad click into all of his tabs to try to figure out where we're going. All right, I want a preview window, and we just added a new field here. So let's add the right one. Yeah. Let's add the search URL. I know there is a release agnostic search URL, and I will ask the dev site team for that. All right, the name of the field is search URL. So we need to go back into UI Builder. We need to edit our data resource and pull that search URL field.
Brad is a UI Builder mastermind.
So we've got that. And then we need to go back here. And this is now going to be is it just data? Tells us what we have up here. I think it's api.data. Yes. Data dot fields. I don't think that was right. Let's go. I click on something. Is this modal going to go away? So it's api.data.result search URL.value. Result search URL value. Let's see if that works.
They're going to need a move to clipboard button soon.
Yeah.
Nice.
Somehow that did work. So, all right, let's get rid of some of these tabs. All right. So I hate the way this is styled. We may move this search box somewhere else. I may just move it over to the left. So let's do some styling here. What is this container? Column 1. Oh, I made this 2 columns. So let's add the search in between these. There, that looks better.
Get rid of the other
And-
container, or is that not
Yeah.
necessary?
Yeah, we'll kill it.
Technically, it would do nothing though, right?
Yeah, I don't even think it would render any HTML. All right, so we've got the search. That is working. Our button works. What else would we want to do from here? I think we'll also have, oh, this is a good thing to know. So our data model.
I'm sorry.
It
I'm so
sounds
sorry.
like you're just banging on the desk.
I'm so sorry. I thought I was muted for that one. Like it's shaking my walls. Okay. Phil has a good question if you want to look at that.
Oh, sure. Would you make the search component visible based on whether or not there is a search URL? That is that's a great point. Yeah, we should do that. You wouldn't want to be able to search if there was no search URL available. So I think we go into component visibility and we say hide component. I think I'm returning probably a true or false here. So I think I can return, so that value would just be empty. So we would go api.state no, it's data. Data look at record. We want to hide it. I don't know. Do we think this works? Let's see.
I tend to safeguard myself and put all the different kinds of nulls and is null, is empty, is.
So it should show up. We have it now. So let's grab, let's
Blank record.
grab a different record. Where is that table? So community. It's still there for community.
Hello.
So probably this is not the right, oh, you know what? It's because the search URL is an object. How about that?
You could just change your test value there too if you wanted to.
Yes. Well, this
Oh.
one's. Why is it still? So let's do this.
Debug mode?
Yep. So let's take my troubleshooting client script. Let's have it do that. And then I'm going to fire that client script on the page ready event. So if you click on body here and go to events, you get all of the page events. So you've got some different things. So this is something you always have available because every page has a body. All right, so let's add. Let's get our dev tools. Hit refresh.
Having event monitoring on one interface is so nice.
We are still refreshing.
Your chair is squeakier than normal today.
Oh, it is. I need to figure out how to WD-40 it.
It's okay. At least your chair is not like mine. Apparently, every time I hit a wrong angle on my chair, it goes down. So you'll suddenly see me like dip to the floor.
Wow, we are.
No bueno, huh?
I don't know what's going on.
It didn't show on page ready.
Well, it's still refreshing.
I mean, you're just having it display the value. The value's empty.
Well, it's still reloading. My page is not reloaded yet.
Do we know how,
Well, it may be Chrome is. Oh, now we finally got it to reload.
Did you put anything before it? Like,
No, it's just gonna. Yeah, you're right. It would just show if it's empty.
It's gonna be empty. Or maybe just add the equals blank.
What is this?
Debug?
URL value. All right, so this is our dev site. So it should definitely give us something. I don't know if this is my instance or my internet connection. Did not tell us anything.
So even your
troubleshooting. You know what? You have to actually add the.
You have to actually add the
page
event.
I thought we did that. Yeah, there it is. The page just hadn't reloaded. So I'm gonna save because I don't know why that save button came up because it should have saved already. But then we're gonna refresh one more time.
API.data.lookuprecord1.result.search Earl.value. Yeah, that should be right.
The page looks ready.
Huh. We've created a different bug.
All right, so let's just add a. I mean, maybe there's an error in that somewhere.
Yeah, maybe something's undefined in there and it's throwing its up. You can do a try catch on the console log.
That's true. Let's just see.
Huh. Oh, it's still loading.
I don't know what's going on.
Oh, there it is.
Event mapping target action is undefined. I have not seen that message before. But that is probably what the issue was, is API.data.lookuprecord. Is it results? No, it's result. So let's look at one of these. So like, let's just take this and go back.
Does it have to have API in front of it when it's in this one?
It does, because API is what gets passed in there. So
yeah, that looks the same. Oh, besides display value, but that
display value, search URL. So let's go. Well,
the same.
It did the highlighting for us. So
Huh.
I wonder if when this is running, the data resource hasn't run yet, because it's all running like async on page load, I guess.
Yeah, but page
So
ready
let's
would
see.
be. You
Let's
would
do
think
this.
would be. It's done. You know.
Let's add it to. So one of the things just to mention is that these data resources have their own set of events. And so we can run this event after the data fetch succeeded.
We're gonna
So
need one
let's
of those
try that.
maps of what things execute before the other things again, like
I
we used
know.
to do for
I don't know that there's
ACLs and business roles and client scripts and.
I don't know that there's any ordering though. We'll have to.
Well,
To
I
see
mean,
it.
theoretically speaking, because you can change a data record live in some cases, then I can understand why it would not necessarily always be ready for the page ready event. So I can understand that. So, and what you just proved that's the case, right?
Yeah, that is the case.
So a data record pull is not necessarily before page ready.
Uh-huh.
Interesting. That's a fun little gotcha to know.
What were we even doing with this? I don't remember.
You're trying to make
we were trying to
the
hide
search
it.
not show up, yeah.
So how would let's do this. All right, I think we're gonna make this work. I think we can make this work. We only have 3 minutes left, but we're gonna do it. So
I don't think everything is async. I don't think so. It's just some things are not in
I
the
may
same
have said
stack.
that.
It's not in the same stack, right?
Add set state.
I mean, it can't be all async. You can't say there's a page ready event if everything's async.
Let's try this.
Oh, I see. So, do you think they wouldn't? They probably would get a glimpse, a brief glimpse at the field.
Well, we can say initial value is false, and then it would just show up. And then we need to come here and say search. And then the last thing we need to do is kill that script on page ready. All right. I just did like 4 different things real quick. So so on developer site, it should all be fine. And then we'll try it on.
Oh, did you have it reversed?
I don't know. Yeah, let's try it on one of the other ones and see if it's. I don't think I had it reversed, but who knows? Yeah. Oh, come on.
You close it again.
Community copy sysid. And nope. Well, I think we're out of time.
It's okay. We were getting there. I think it's just a matter of another script that went haywire.
We would have made it. We would have made it.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Sweet.
All right.
Hey, you got a lot more successes in those than I normally get. You got the visit site button working. You got the search functionality working. You got the record to load on the page. Yeah. Man.
It's not pretty. It's not pretty, but we did get more interactive stuff working than I thought we would. So that was good.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff on there, especially with all the different. That kind of tool would be useful, anyways, just for the sake of how many web properties that there are.
Yeah.
Cool.
How
was your drink?
My drink was the Modelo. I'm still halfway through. I mean, it's a solid. We'll give it a 3.75.
Nice. I have high quality H2O. Probably should get the
Nice.
highest rating we can do because everyone should be keeping hydrated as much as possible. Do you think you would want to do part 2 and try to keep going on that stuff? Get all the
We
functionality?
should do a part 2. Yeah, get some of the data in there, and we didn't do anything to the homepage, so that's where
true.
part 2 would go.
Well, we'll see when we can get to a part 2 because we have some fun live coding happy hours lined up. We have some good guests lining up. I think we're gonna have another lady coding happy hour coming up soon. We're gonna have a partner host one time, different topics all over the place. So that's pretty exciting. Is there anything else you want to announce for news, upcoming events, or anything?
Yeah, I mean, we've got some MVP led live codes coming up, and yeah, I think that's it.
I want to make sure we do one last shout out for Hacktoberfest. October is ending on in a few more days, but you still have some time to participate. If you don't know what Hacktoberfest is, I'm not gonna spend too much time on it, but go to devlink.sn/Hacktoberfest21 and you'll see all the information about there. You have a few more days to get to qualify and earn swag and goodies from DigitalOcean. So look at that. That's been very popular participation this time around. We're gonna do a good retrospect blog or talk during another episode of Live Coding Happy Hour once we get all that stuff in. Otherwise, find all our stuff at developer.servicenow.com. What else is coming up? Lots of holidays.
That's right.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks everybody for tuning in. That was a lot more successful stuff than I probably would have done if I had hosted this episode. So thanks, Brad, for taking over on that one.
No.
Always appreciate Brad's knowledge on all this stuff. For the last shout out, Christopher says we need to start drinking more Belgian beers.
I've had a couple of Belgian beers on the show, but it was a while back. But yes, they are good.
I'll make sure to grab one for next week just for you. For pointing out the error in our code this week. I'll make sure I'll grab a Belgian beer next time. All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Next week, Creator Toolbox. And then after that, live coding happy hour, right?
I think we're actually doing another live code next week and then Creator Toolbox. But just subscribe to the YouTube. It'll tell you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.